SJSU is facing a new lawsuit. More details on that up next.
Schools in Alum Rock are closing down. We'll tell you why coming up.
San Jose and the LGBTQIA+ community are honoring lives lost. More on that later.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Angela Nguyen.
And I'm Alina Ta. San Jose State University is facing a lawsuit against one of its women's volleyball players. The player is senior co-captain Brooke Slusser. She and others filed the lawsuit on November 13th. They are seeking a court-ordered injunction that would ban SJSU from allowing a player whom Slusser identified as transgender to compete in the Mountain West Conference tournament that takes place from November 27th through the 30th in Las Vegas. SJSU's athletics director, Jeff Kanya, released a statement saying all of the SJSU's athletes comply with NCAA and Mountain West Conference policies. He said the volleyball team members have earned the right to compete and that SJSU is deeply disappointed for them for being denied opportunities because of these cancellations and forfeits. The lawsuit accuses SJSU's women's volleyball head coach Todd Kress, other SJSU faculty member, and Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Neves of manipulating conference rules. Kress said in a statement that no one could have imagined what the team would go through and described the experience as a big roller coaster. Both Kanya and Kress commented on the team's perseverance and determination to stay together as a team. SJU said in an email statement that it had received a copy of the 132-page lawsuit and wouldn't comment on its claims. 11 people had joined Slusser in the lawsuit, which includes 2 former Spartan women volleyball players, a former SJSU associate head coach, and 8 players from the 4 teams that have forfeited games against the Spartans, including Nevada, Utah State, Wyoming, and Boise State.
The Alum Rock School District Board announced plans to close 7 campuses across East San Jose.
The Alum Rock School District has listed 7 campuses to close down. The announcement came in response to an annual $20 million deficit in the district's budget. German Serta said in an interview with NBC that any number of cutting district positions or school programs will not make up for the deficit. Parents, teachers, and students alike voiced heavy concerns about the closures.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation for anybody. Nobody's winning here. The families that are going to be displaced from the school, the teachers that are going to be displaced.
Some of the schools recommended for closure are Aptitude Community Academy at Goss and Mayer Elementary School, including many more. Community members involved with the campuses recommended for closure are advocating for the school to be spared.
I think my biggest worry is just seeing the community fall apart. I know as a teacher how strong our team is and how strong our community is and how strong our parents are, but I feel like we can only do it together.
The board's list is subject to change, and there is a set deadline on December 2nd for the board to vote on the decision.
So the district has a history of not really understanding and caring about what the community needs and doing what they think the community needs.
Community members of Alum Rock wait for the final decision to be made. Once the board votes, they will decide which campuses will be closed down. Update News will continue to bring you the story. In San Jose, Gabriel Evans, Update News.
We turn our attention to what was and might still be a growing issue affecting students at San Jose State University. Students had grown frustrated with the long wait for the middle class scholarship, but it looks as though the wait is over. Here's reporter Mohammed Ajimi with more information surrounding the scholarship.
Thanks, Alina. Before Tuesday, the middle class scholarship hadn't been dispersed, causing issues within SJSU. It's awarded to those attending University of California, California State University, or the California Community College bachelor's programs. However, it looks as though it's begun.
It's a scholarship awarded to undergraduates and students pursuing a teaching credential with family income assets up to $217,000, according to the California Student Aid Commission. SJSU students have raised frustration with how long the disbursement of the scholarship has been.
It's been kind of like kept delaying it to the point where I don't know, it's almost the end of semester, and a lot of students are struggling, including me.
Another SJSU student went into what he did to get his textbooks needed for class.
I was just looking online, just trying to find like all the textbooks and any notebooks that the teacher was recommending us to use, trying to find like a free version of every textbook, because I wasn't able to buy the textbooks until I got my money.
The main problem that SJSU faced dispersing the funds was through the new system. Colita McElroy, the director of the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, explained that the system was revamped, which was a factor in the funds being delayed.
With the rollout of the FAFSA simplification, which revamped the entire financial aid process, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level.
McElroy stated that the application went down from 100 questions to 30. One of those questions would incorporate an expected family contribution, and that told him how to award a student. Now that the formula has changed to the Student Aid Index and made the process more difficult, the middle class scholarship and its disbursement highlights the urgent need for more efficient systems to support the students who rely on aid to pursue their education.
According to McElroy, other universities are also experiencing this issue. McElroy also told me the scholarship funds are beginning to be rolled out currently, but they all shouldn't be dispersed till as soon as early December. So be sure to keep checking your MySJSU account. To learn more about the scholarship, visit the scholarship website. Live in San Jose, I'm Mohammed Najimi. Back to the desk.
Angela, how do you feel about shopping in downtown?
Honestly, I love it. I go there pretty often, I shop, and I eat there all the time. Now, there is a plan that could potentially close a part of the street in downtown San Jose to make way for pedestrian mall. Reporter Larry Larkin has a story.
This is Post Street in San Jose. The city of San Jose has a vision to turn this street permanently into a pedestrian mall between South 1st Street and Lightson Alley. The closure of Post Street started as a pilot program during the pandemic. A business owner who serves on the board of the San Jose Downtown Association spoke about the benefits of closing Post Street.
It allowed us to have small community-based events, makers markets, small concerts, art shows, and parties. It brought a liveliness that we didn't have before.
Since the pandemic, the closure has come and gone multiple times. San Jose has seen success in its other downtown gathering places, Paseo de San Antonio and San Pedro Square. San Jose is hoping that adding a third one will be a boost.
The businesses on Post Street do agree, so that in of itself is an important milestone. And there are many successful events that already happen on Post Street.
The San Jose Downtown Association says converting Post Street from a road to a pedestrian mall will be huge.
It will make a huge difference when it comes to vibrancy in downtown, because we still have these type of plazas missing.
The San Jose City Council will vote on February 25th to decide on whether or not to establish the pedestrian mall. In San Jose, Larry Larkin, Update News.
The transgender community faces high rates of violence because of homophobia and transphobia. To honor those who have lost their lives to transphobic violence in the past year, the LGBTQIA+ community members in San Jose are gathering in support for Transgender Day of Remembrance.
This is Ollie Harder. He's a political activist, a student at San Jose State University, and a member of the transgender community.
Trans Day of Remembrance is for those victims of hate crime, of abuse, of whether it be physical, sexual, emotional abuse, but it's also for us who are still here and like leading the movement to say to the world, we are here.
The National Library of Medicine estimated in 2017 that around 1 million adults in the U.S. identified as transgender.
I've experienced lots of hate crimes. I've been called basically every queer slur under the book, and I have faced physical and sexual violence before as a queer person.
In 2020, transgender people over the age of 16 were 2.5 times more likely than cisgender people to experience violence, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics.
I share so much community and space with trans people, and I consider them, trans people, some of my closest friends and community. So to see that list and to even see the ways that they were harmed was really, really difficult.
Sweden has been making a list of every trans individual who died in the past year to remember those who lost their lives to transphobic violence. Each name will be written on a poster next to the person's picture. On Saturday, SJ People's Pride, a volunteer group that supports San Jose's local LGBTQIA+ community, will honor those victims with a march and a vigil.
Despite whatever they throw at us, despite whatever they put us through, we are going to be here, we're going to survive.
SJ People's Pride will be hosting its vigil and march on Saturday at St. James Park. The vigil starts at 5 p.m. and volunteers plan to chant and drum loudly to express their support for the trans community.
Menstrual cycles can be seen as a taboo topic, but a new California bill may aim to erase the stigma. Alexis Marquez took to SJSU to get more opinions.
Not all people are taught about their menstrual cycle, which can be really scary for those who get it when they're just children.
An 8-year-old who doesn't understand her body yet won't know to go change her pad. She's gonna bleed through. People are gonna freak the hell out when they see blood. So we gotta teach them.
Lay expresses that if kids aren't taught at school or home, they'll turn to unreliable sources like the internet. Gavin Newsom's signing of the Know Your Period Act aims to cut down on the confusion by teaching teens and tweens about their menstrual cycles. California high schoolers and middle schoolers will now learn about the menstrual cycle, premenstrual syndrome and pain management, menstrual disorders and irregularities, menopause and menstrual stigma, and other relevant topics. Some believe the curriculum should have been taught sooner.
Some people that got their periods at school, in elementary school, and they were freaking out and they didn't know what to do and they didn't tell anyone, and then it was a whole thing at school.
Lack of information and misinformation can be harmful. Many girls like Desiree Velez grew up with a period that can be irregular and confusing. Many turn to birth control for help.
I tried to go ahead and get on birth control by myself. I ended up having a period for about 2 months because I didn't know what I was doing, I was just, here, take a pill. It's going to stop your period and make it regular. But it made it worse.
The bill aims to improve health outcomes by being able to detect and manage periods, empower through knowledge to help students make informed decisions, reduce stigma to create a more accepting environment, and support youth development by giving them a safe clinical space to learn. The bill was signed into law on September 27th and will go into effect January 2025. In San Jose, I'm Alexis Marquez, Update News.
We'll have more for you when we come back.
How can AI and education team up? SJSU attempts to answer that question next.
Climate change is a rising concern. Stay tuned to find out how San Jose neighbors are responding to the issue.
Will it rain this week? Let's pour into your weather forecast coming up next.
Let's celebrate our community at the San Antonio Festival on November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a pop-up market, live performances, art installations, and fun activities with local businesses on the Paseo. Plus, a business workshop for entrepreneurs. This festival is for you, so bring along your family and friends for a whole day of fun. For more information, follow our Instagram at the San Antonio Festival.
As technology continues to rapidly change, San Jose State University explores how to work alongside artificial intelligence. Find out how professors and students are interacting with our reporter, Michelle Sanchez.
SJSU students and professors work to find ways AI can enhance education. A recent AI event has helped share innovation ideas in education. San Jose professors note one way they have worked with AI was to help students and staff to create an online book. Gurmet Narula mentioned the expense of books for students and how textbooks are outdated.
After the session, in a couple of days, we used AI. We created this very simple AI wizard, which walks a professor to create a video book or a video course. A course for any subject.
The event also held keynotes and panels on education, healthcare, and investment in AI. Students appreciate the fact that SJSU is giving them the opportunity to be able to work with AI and gain more knowledge on technology.
They provided all the opportunity for us to building and gain tech knowledge. That would be a wonderful opportunities.
Other students note that AI will be used heavily in the future, making it important to stay informed.
I know the future is AI, and it's important that I know how we can fundamentally accelerate artificial intelligence and how us students can learn to innovate.
Interaction with AI will continue to arise with the years to come, and new innovations will be brought to help students and society. In San Jose, Michelle Sanchez, Update News.
A brand new minor in Spanish language media will be coming to San Jose State starting next semester. Our reporter Isabella Alvarez has more on the opportunities students would have by enrolling in the new courses.
The JMC department will be offering new classes that will teach students about journalism in Spanish-speaking countries from different perspectives. Some of these include broadcast and even news reporting on social media. Professor Manel Palos Pons says the goal is to help students learn about journalism in Spanish while improving their speaking and writing skills.
There are jobs there. They're waiting for students to be fully bilingual to be able to work on Telemundo, Univision, in many media in Spanish here in the United States.
Palos Pons told me that the Silicon Valley has seen a decline of fully bilingual journalists from the U.S. Professionals at Telemundo and Univision have been hiring individuals from Latin America, but jobs are there for students too.
We meet a lot of young journalists who are very interested, but they speak one language or the other, or sometimes they speak Spanish, but they can't write Spanish, right? And so the need is very high.
Starting next semester, a new course teaching broadcast journalism in English and Spanish will be available for students. Similar to Update News, and Noticias Espartanos will broadcast a news show on local television and be published on YouTube. The class will teach students different ways of reporting broadcast journalism while polishing their Spanish skills. The opportunity serves as a chance for students to represent the community of Latinos in the Bay Area after graduation.
I'm actually in Belen Moreno's class, and she is in charge of the FLP program. She's the one that's going to be taking the students over there. And honestly, she kind of made me most excited about it.
The trip to Spain is open to all majors, but will help students majoring in public relations and advertising get exposure to media and agencies overseas.
The JMC department hopes that the minor will be well received by students next semester, and that there could potentially be a future for a Spanish language media major later down the line. In San Jose, I'm Isabella Alvarez, Update News.
A yoga center has opened in San Francisco to connect people to their spiritual side. Reporter Sean Robertson has the story.
Bhakti is the devotion of love. You can feel the love here at Bhakti SF as the harmonium fades in and the drum begins to beat. This is Kirtan. Devotees gather together to play instruments and chant from the heart.
So we're chanting these holy names, and the names are non-different from the divine, and when we sing them, we are calling out in a sort of an appeal.
It's encouraged to lose yourself in the mantra and maybe even dance.
I was just completely weeping from it, and it was because it touches something that we don't necessarily get to experience in our day-to-day, which is connecting with our soul, our inner world.
The center is under the umbrella of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The founder, Swami Prabhupada, traveled from India to San Francisco in the 60s at the height of the hippie movement.
At Haight-Asbury, a lot of hippies. And he then, with the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, sharing the kirtan, chanting, he made hippies into happies.
Since then, they've continued to serve the community.
We come together in loving service, and loving service is at the heart of everything that we do in Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti SF is really like a beacon of light for us to remember the truths of who we are and why we are here.
They have temples and centers scattered around the Bay Area. You can learn more at their website or search the Yoga of Bhakti. In San Francisco, Sean Robertson, Update News.
California has become proactive in finding solutions to reduce carbon emissions. In San Jose, some residents are showing changes in their daily routines. I went to find out more on how some San Jose residents are actively reducing their carbon footprint with sustainable practices. San Jose residents are taking action at a local level to reduce their carbon footprint. This is Quinlan Lam. She is a local San Jose resident with a garden in her backyard. The easiest way to reduce your carbon footprint would be through growing your own greens. If you can't grow your own vegetables and fruits, small decorative plants also help to diminish CO2 emissions. Lam receives local produce that have visual imperfections from stores to save products from being discarded. According to the California Department of Resources, recycling and recovery, organic food waste in landfills make up 20% of California's methane levels. Methane pollutes the atmosphere 84 times more than carbon dioxide. San Jose resident Calvin Nguyen grows various fruits in his backyard.
It's more organic to grow stuff at home than to go to the store and buy it for more expensive prices.
Nguyen's family has their own compost bin where they produce their own fertilizer. Nguyen believes vegetation and food scraps are the best compostable items since nothing is wasted. Eugene Cordero, an environmental professor at SJSU, sheds light on new San Jose regulations that help to regulate food waste.
I do believe there's some new rules in San Jose that you can't get sued if you had some food that you thought, our customers didn't buy this food. It hasn't been contaminated.
Cordero believes restaurants can donate food to prevent edible produce from entering landfills. San Jose residents are taking small steps to lower their CO2 emissions. With that, California is progressing towards better reduction of their carbon footprint in the near future. Hey Lena, have you noticed the weather's been a little cloudy lately?
Yeah, not a lot of sunshine, but let's find out more with our reporter Madison Wilbur on this week's forecast.
Hi, I'm Madison Wilbur, and here is your weather forecast. All right, if there's anything to take away from this week, it's rain and wind at times, warmer temps and rain, and then some weekend showers. This week is a stormy week across Northern California and the Bay Area. As an atmospheric river pattern sets up, we could see heavy rain at times, especially into the North Bay as we wrap up the weekend, and heavier rain south as we move forward into the weekend. The futurecast shows the long moisture fetch from the subtropics aiming in across the west coast. This will bring rain at times from midweekend to Thursday and more rain and wind from Friday into the start of the weekend. You'll also notice how temperatures are getting warmer and more mild as the subtropic moisture brings muggy conditions and high rain rates at times, which I know is not what you want to hear. All right. Our 7-day forecast for Santa Cruz is going to be cold and rainy. You got 61 on Saturday and also Sunday, and then it gets a little colder going into Monday. Oakland's going to look about the same, so you've got 64 to 62, and then it goes 61 Monday, so again, just getting colder. All right, and then coming to San Francisco, right by the coast, you got 62, 61, 60. I think you're starting to see a pattern here, okay? Lots of rain, lots of 60s. But then back here at San Jose, it's going to stay a little bit warmer like we talked about, but then it gets colder going into Monday. So if you're planning on jumping into any puddles, grab some rain boots, but if you're planning to be like me, grab a blanket and a mug of hot chocolate. Back to the desk.
Stay tuned because we have more for you after the break.
Also, we have your Update News Sports Wrap. You don't want to miss Tyler's marquee matchup coming up soon.
A new professional women's sports team will soon pave the way for women's in sports. Stay tuned to learn more.
On a special Thanksgiving edition of State of the Spartans, let's meet the people behind SJSU's publications.
Let's celebrate our community at the San Antonio Festival on November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a pop-up market, live performances, art installations, and fun activities with local businesses on the Paseo. Plus, a business workshop for entrepreneurs. This festival is for you, so bring along your family and friends for a whole day of fun. For more information, follow our Instagram at the San Antonio Festival.
A new professional sports league looks to grow, and the attention on women's sports. Reporter Justin Ray went to find out more.
The Premier Lacrosse League has announced a new professional league for women's lacrosse. With the new league comes an even bigger opportunity for all women's lacrosse players.
1, 2, 3, Spartans!
The Women's Lacrosse League, or WLL, is set to begin action in February 2025, with 4 teams that have not been announced yet. Prior to the league's creation, many women's lacrosse players across the country were forced to find opportunities overseas, and many more were forced to end their careers at the collegiate level.
It'll give a lot of women a lot of opportunities to continue the sport that they love to do, so I'm really excited to see where they can take it.
Lacrosse has been one of the fastest growing sports in the world. At San Jose State, there's the Women's Lacrosse Club, and the team continues to get bigger.
I definitely think that the future is boundless, especially just looking at San Jose State specifically. We've had such a bigger turnout this year compared to last year.
The team welcomes all women athletes, regardless of skill level, to learn a new sport while staying competitive throughout their season.
I've played other sports before, and this one's very competitive. I'd say probably more than other sports I've played.
This league looks to bring lacrosse back to the Olympics for the first time in over 100 years.
It's crazy the skills that these women have. I definitely think that kind of professionalism in sports definitely deserves a spotlight in the Olympics.
Head over to the PLL website for more information and updates on the new league. In San Jose, I'm Justin Ray, Update News.
Let's wrap up the week with sports with our reporter Tyler Flipson.
Welcome to your Update News Sports Wrap. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Matter of fact, let's go head on over to women's volleyball, if you could dig it. See what I did there. Where they took on a Mountain West showdown with Fresno State last week, and they went the distance, 5 sets, and every set was as narrow as you can guess. But despite going the distance there, they did fall short and lost to Fresno State. After that, that's the end of their regular season, where they moved to 12-5 in the conference. But their season isn't done yet, because they're heading on to the Mountain West tournament, where their opponent's yet to be determined. That will start next week, as you could see. So we'll have to stick around for that one, and they're hoping to make a deep playoff push. Now, we spin it on over to football, where they took on Boise State last week, which we did preview, and they kept it real close in the first half. But despite that narrow margin, Boise did run away with it in the second half. So after that, they fell to 3-3 in the conference. It's their first loss at home this season. And now they're on to their final 2 games of the regular season, one of those 2 being number 23, UNLV. They play UNLV this Friday, and they're down, like I said, the final 2 games of the season in the regular season. So every single one of these games count as they look ahead to a late season push. Now, let's go on over to men's soccer. We've been doing a lot of talking about them this season, where they dominated in the WAC tournament, where they dominated in the quarterfinals. They move on to the semis, and they beat number 1 seed San Diego State, a shocker. And then they move on to the championship round against number 2 seed Seattle University, where unfortunately they did fall short 3-0. But a big thing to mention to come out of that tournament, 3 of the Spartans, Angel Iniguez, Cameron Cook, and Gilberto Rivera, were named the WAC All-Tournament team, as you can see here. Something to be very proud of as their season comes to an end. Now, let's go on over to Tyler's marquee matchup, the game you don't want to miss. Every single week we talk about it, and that's no other than men's water polo. And I'm going to tell you why. We previewed them taking on Cal Baptist last week, and it was every ounce of good. 13-12 final, and that was thanks to Mitchell Kitely's tying and go-ahead goal to give them that narrow win. And then after that, they went on Sunday to take on Air Force. And that game was astounding with the way the Spartans ran. 19-9 final in favor of San Jose State. And why I mention that is because now that's the end of their regular season. They move on to the WCC Conference Championships, the first round where they're ranked as the 3rd seed, where they will rematch none other than Air Force. So if they're able to do what they did against Air Force last week into then this tournament, I think they're in good position. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Update News Sports Wrap. Now back to the desk.
Well, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. What's your favorite dish?
Honestly, I'm a simple gal. Just mashed potato and gravies for me, please.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. We have a special speaker who's going to be bringing to us some of SJSU's favorite Thanksgiving dishes.
Hi, my name is Madison Woolwer, and I have the honor of being the executive producer for Update News. Let's go together to find out what everybody's favorite Thanksgiving dish is in the different newsrooms here in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications.
I like stuffing and mashed potatoes and gravy and turkey. I like it all.
I like mac and cheese and the turkey that my dad makes, specifically. Only the one my dad makes.
Mashed potatoes. Green bean casserole.
So my favorite Thanksgiving dish is probably my own pumpkin pie. It's really good.
My favorite dish is probably mashed potatoes.
Pumpkin pie.
Oh, hey. My favorite Thanksgiving dish, I think it's going to be mashed potatoes, but with the works. Bacon, chives, butter, cheese, the whole 9 yards.
I'm also on the potato thing, but I got to go with scalloped potatoes, all cheesy.
Okay, favorite Thanksgiving dish. No doubt it's dessert. I skip the dinner, I skip the turkey, skip the stuffing. I go right for dessert. And the dessert I like the most is pecan pie. Oh my goodness, maybe throw a little vanilla ice cream on top. That's the thing.
Pecan pie.
I would say that my favorite Thanksgiving food is absolutely my grandmother's dessert that she calls Mississippi mud cake. It's a layer of fudge on the bottom, marshmallow fluff, another layer of chocolate, and then she melts marshmallows on top. So, gotta shout out my grandma. She makes the best dishes. Back to the desk.
you're struggling to make plans because of the rain, our reporter Vincent Rupena has some ideas for you in his weekend roundup.
Welcome back to Vincent's Weekend Roundup. Starting off, on November 23rd, DC Fitness will be hosting its second annual Turkey Trot 5K. If running's not your thing, don't worry. They will be having both competitive and non-competitive heats. Early check-in for the competitive heat starts at 9 a.m. The profits will be going to Loaves and Fish's Family Kitchen, a hunger relief organization that combats food insecurity in the Bay Area. Next up is Vino Days at Italy Italian Restaurant. The multiple-day event will spice up the restaurant's usual offerings. With the purchase of a $6 ticket, attendees get access to wine tastings from over 20 venues, discounts on food and wine, and more. There will even be live music on Saturday.
Finally, American rapper and producer Soulja Boy is coming to San Jose. Soulja Boy is a well-known name for any 2000s hip-hop lover. The BET Award winner will be performing at Myth Lounge. Start time is set for 5 p.m. and the event will be 21+. That does it for this week's Vincent's Weekend Roundup. Now back to the desk.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
From all of us here, thanks for joining us and be sure to follow our socials and see you next week.